Hey everybody, Stu Smith here, going live. Hope you are well this Monday morning. I will tell you this, I had one of those mornings where I woke up, and remember, it's April, and it's 37 degrees in April. Now, had this been January and it was 37 degrees, I'd be like, oh, that's a good day. But April, I'm expecting 58, 60 at 6 a.m. So it was one of those things that you don't like to do, but you do anyway. So just had to dress a little warmer than normal for April. But, if you don't like the weather in Maryland, wait a few days because it'll probably be 75 in a couple. So, anyway, so I wanted to share a little event that occurred the other day. We did a training session that was pretty challenging. We did what we call the Sam Baby Devil Murph. If you've never seen it, I will share it real quickly. Um, and it's a hard workout. This is one of those beat down type workouts where you get hundreds of repetitions of log PT simulated through a sandbag. So you got push press, you got shoulder carry squats, chest carry lunges for hundreds of yards. You have chest carry sit ups, and you're accumulating 100, 200, 300 reps of each. Then you do a Murph, which is, you know what that is, run a mile, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats. But we mix it up a little bit. We break up the Murph with some sit-ups, so we do a little mix. But in this case, we actually just did the Murph as part 2 of that workout, and then part 3 of the workout is the Devil's Mile, which is a quarter-mile bear crawl, quarter-mile lunges, quarter-mile fireman carry, and a quarter-mile farmer walk. Used to be burpee jumps, but I wanted to change it to farmer walk just because it's I think, a more useful activity. Works your grip a little more. Anyway, that was our event that we did, but I had a whole bunch of new people that I wasn't sure where their fitness was. They're military, so I wasn't too concerned about them not being able to do this, but I also know they had been running, they had been swimming for an hour before they even met me. So I decided to change the workout. We all did the workout, but we did it in groups of 4-person teams. So you took that same workout, and now you had, I think we had 5 teams of 4 or 4 teams of 4, can't remember. And each one of those members of that 4-person team had to create a plan on how they were going to coordinate together and get all of those repetitions and distances done together effectively as quick as they can. So it required communication, required strategizing, required keeping track of each other's repetition, which is also constant communication. You can have a communication breakdown, and next thing you know, you just did 100 repetitions if you're not paying attention. And you had to use each other's strengths and weaknesses to strategize through this thing. And it turned what was not that hard of a workout when you divide that workout by 4, still a good enough workout. Took an hour, 10 minutes maybe. But it was a good lesson in communication and coming up with creative ideas to do something, using someone's strengths to help out someone. If you were to divide it by 4 evenly and someone can't run very fast, but you got a cross country guy here, just let him do all the running and then everybody else do the other reps. Just little things like that was really creative. And it turned the workout into more than a workout, but something very useful for the type of training you will one day do throughout any military, special ops selection, academy level training program where you are members of a team. It's one thing to just go do this workout by yourself. Great gut check, get it done. Not too bad. At the end of the day, you feel like you did something. But when you have another couple of people to do it with, you can really utilize other elements that will be highly required of you when you are under a log, when you are under a boat, and you have to get from A to B and be there at a certain period of time and do a level of exercises or events prior to that. All of that's going to require communication, being a good part of the team, maybe working through, some of the tougher positions under a boat or under a log. You rotate regularly through that. People know the schedule of what we're going to do. People know the schedule of tomorrow. And then you have a little debrief at the end and you discuss what went right, what went wrong, how can we fix it? Because tomorrow's a new day. Put this behind us. Let's move on and use these lessons learned and do better tomorrow. So that is effective training. So BZ to those folks that were part of that. So yes, more than just a beatdown. So you guys have any questions for me? I don't see any questions or comments. Did I start early or something? I guess I started about 10 minutes early than I normally do. Yeah, if you guys have questions over there on Instagram, send them. If you have some over here on Facebook and YouTube, go ahead and send those as well. I will say this. I have a couple articles I wrote this week already. I cranked out 2 yesterday just because I had some extra time and did a little bit, kind of wrote an article that was, it gave me this little workout that I shared with you, gave me the idea of about teamwork and leadership and followership, are 3 big buzzwords that you will hear throughout your military training, and how to be a better follower, how to be a better leader, how to be a better team and a high performing team. All of those things require just about everything I just said in the prior discussion about that workout is communication, people understanding the schedule, understanding the goal of that particular day, of that particular event that you're getting ready to do. They understand that there will be a steady rotation between individuals in that team, and then you just move on from there, and then that evolves into being a part of a community. That's going to be even teamwork to another level, all of that. So, hey, there's a question here from Commander-in-Chief. Can you go back over what that workout was? I only caught the back end of it. It's an article. In fact, I will cut and paste this for you. I know you can't click and go right to the link there over there on Instagram, but if you check out the comment section, I just loaded up the Sam Baby Devil Murph. You can Google it because it's a thing. I created it. I named it. And it's an article that I wrote, and it explains the exact workout that we did. It's something I like to do probably twice a month, just as a good little assessment. Now, I will tell you this. This is the first time I'd done it as a team, just mainly because there were 15, 20 people that I didn't know, but all of my folks that I train with regularly, we will do this individually as a group, but everybody does all the reps, and it's kind of a race, and it's a good challenge. So it's up to you how you want to break this up when you first do it, but it's definitely what I call a great way to simulate a BUDS level beatdown right? Where you are bear crawling and fireman carrying and logs, with all the different log events you do, running with the log or the sandbag. I will tell you this though, the sandbag is hard, but it is definitely doable. So, all right. How many miles a week should I be swimming? Recent buds drop, and I want to go back properly prepared. Well, here's the deal. We usually swim twice a week with fins, and we make those our leg day swims. Um, that's just how we set it up in our programming. If you haven't seen our programming, you can see it countless ways. This is what we're doing right now: spring training, getting to and through selection. Um, so on leg days, you will see swimming with fins, and we usually swim anywhere from 2 to 3,000. We rarely do a 4 mile time swim. Every now and then, someone will add one in there, but usually by the end of the week, we've accumulated anywhere between 4 and maybe 6,000 yards with fins. Then on upper body days, we'll swim about another 2,000, 1,500 to 2,000 a day, and we'll do 2 or 3 upper body days. So you're adding in another, I'd say about 10,000 yards in a week. We're typically swimming. And then we do one day where it's really just skills. It's treading, underwater, drown proofing, life saving, knot tying, all of those little skills that that you need to practice. Let's see. Saw a couple questions here. What is Bud's Chow Hall like? I've heard it's really good. Any recommendations on what to focus on eating? Can your stuff your pockets before you head out? I always carried extra food out and just would stick it in my locker or a bag or something. Usually a piece of fruit. I'd take the little honey packets. Those were always good. Sometimes I'd take an apple, just something with some carbs in it. The honey packets were key. Sometimes they had peanut butter. Take that out. But no, it was good. I got all the food I needed. Was it the best food available? Probably not. But it was good enough, and it was you could eat high calorie foods, and that would fuel you for the rest of the time between meals. And that's what you really needed, is focus on extra. And then you keep some extra food in your locker too. High calorie foods were always smart. You get a spoonful of peanut butter a couple times a day, you got enough fuel to move you, especially if it's halfway between lunch and dinner, and you still have a 2-hour event coming up. Something that agrees with your stomach is something that you have to work with now, so you know what's good for you and go work out with it. So there's going to be a lot of times when you have to do things with a full stomach, and getting used to that takes some time. You don't want to throw it all up, because then you just emptied your gas tank. So you need to find foods that are also agreeable to you, or I guess better yet, find foods that don't agree with you and don't eat them. For instance, foods that give you heartburn. That's one of the worst things ever. Like Mexican food day or something, I go a little spicy, and I'm tasting it for the next 4 hours, just kind of acid reflux type of thing. Or sometimes even Italian dressing tends to do it for me. Like if I put a little Italian dressing on a salad or something, taste it rest of the day. and that hurts. That's one of those acidic types that just hurts. So know what not to eat, and find foods that fuel you, but also don't come back up again easily. Because I would say the worst parts of Hell Week for me was after eating some kind of chimichanga MRE for breakfast, and then I had acid reflux for the rest of the day. But when you have the med checks, you just say, "Hey, I got some heartburn or something." They give you some medicine, take care of it, and that was really helpful. So as long as you're communicating that you're having some issues, they'll hook you up with some meds to take care of it. All right, what else we got here? Any other questions? What are the main Spec Ops programs that you help people train for? Any interesting ones? That's a good question. I have helped just about every one of them. And when I say every one of them, within the United States, help some folks for Canadian, the Canadian Special Forces groups. Trying to think, Brits, Australian, Danish, but locally we get mostly SEAL candidates, but we also have several Marines. I would say in the last 2 years we probably had over a dozen Marines, a bunch of Army SF guys, Rangers, some SWIC, mostly SEAL though, some SARC guys that go Corman. Want to do the SARC Corman. Had FBI SWAT, HRT, Air Force PJ, people in the pipeline still, and beyond. Recon guys. What am I missing? Air rescue, Coast Guard rescue swimmers. Yeah, we've had a bunch. I mean, local SWAT teams, Secret Service. Shoot, man, whole bunch of guys. It's fun. I enjoy it. Firefighters. We have all types come through here, and each one of them brings something special to the group. I won't ever forget when we first learned about stair-stepping machines from a firefighter, and that has been a classic. In fact, if you haven't seen my stair-stepper workout, I wrote it for military.com. In fact, for those looking to join Spec Ops, weighted stair steps are a useful tool, and boy are they. I'll put this link in here. If you just type in the title there, you'll see it. Over here on YouTube, you can just click it and see it over there. But yeah, you will definitely, if you want to get your legs durable for boats, logs, running in sand, rucking in sand, weight vest stair steppers. That was something a firefighter brought to us. And I want to forget the FBI SWAT team guy who later became HRT, brought in stair crawls. I don't know if you've seen me do those before, where you bear crawl a flight of stairs going down forward, and then you bear crawl up going backwards. That's next level. Not fun, especially if you got a long stairway. How's that? If you ask me about one, I'll probably say yes or no, but I think just off the top of my head, those are the main ones I see here. Recommended fins to train with, or is this training gear covered in your articles? Oh, I've written about articles and swimming with fins many times, but my advice is get the fins. First, get a small set of fins that help you learn the techniques of swimming with fins. Don't break your ankles, because you will find foot and ankle pain a big part of your scuba fin journey. And that takes about a month to build up the ankle mobility and some of the leg strength needed to do longer swims with rocket fins or jet fins. In the military, especially the Spec Ops diving community, you will be issued rocket fins or jet fins. I personally like the jet fins. They look exactly the same. I just find them a little more pliable. What do you recommend to overcome breathing during freestyle? Well, you get in better swimming shape, for one. Maybe not crazy flutter kicks. Other day I was teaching freestyle to somebody and they were just motorboating back there, just so fast you could barely see their feet go. And then they got 25 yards and he's like, huffing and puffing. I'm like, stop kicking so much and let's just try to kick reasonably. Just a kick here or there. It doesn't have to be a constant flutter kick. And made such a difference. And it, he was really just cavitating back there, because if you haven't spent years on a kickboard like most swim athletes have, perfecting that flutter kick, chances are you suck at flutter kicks and you're just wasting your time and energy. So that's why, for the most part, I will tell people don't flutter kick when you're doing the CSS, just because it's mostly ineffective if you don't know how to do it right. For Corman, would you recommend trying to go SARC or SO? And who would you consider the better medics? Well, they both go through the same schools, but one's a SEAL who just happens to be combat medic trained. The other is a Navy corpsman who went through recon training and is combat medic trained. So they go through the same courses. One's just a SEAL first, combat medic. The other one's a medic. Just so happens to be a Navy guy on a recon team. How often should we do fin work? Just answer that question. I always answer this question like this. On days you do legs, do fins. That's the way I do it. That is my opinion. Any program that you see here, Spec Ops related, that requires finning, you will see swimming with fins on leg days. Yeti Man says, no question. Just want to say thanks for everything you do for the community. Me and my team use your stuff to train every day. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, got some questions over here, I think. All right, Stu, trying to get better at running, looking to integrate a stationary bike into my cardio. Any recommendations and why? You know what I like to do? And there's many ways to do this. This is just one that's very effective. Try doing bricks. And brick is just an acronym word used for bike run combination, right? So you do a bike for 10 or 15 minutes and then you run for 10 or 15 minutes or whatever distance you want to do. But bike hard, then go running. And you tell me how you feel. That's a really good one. If you need more cardio with less impact, maybe try a bigger, longer bike ride on the days in between your run days. So if you're running Monday, Wednesday, Friday, try a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday bike ride. It's up to you what you want to do on Sunday, but get some time in, get some zone 2 in, get some interval work in on that bike. Tabata intervals is a great way to do it. I also do one on it's like a polar bike or life cycle, where every minute on the minute I increase the resistance by 2. So you start off at 1, you go to 3, 5, 7, 9, go. Keep on going up high as you can till the machine stops or you can't pedal, somewhere between 70 and 90 RPMs. Once you fall off of that 70 RPM minimum, you now are kind of done. Take about 5 minutes, nice, easy, catch your breath, and then try to repeat in reverse order everything that you did on the way up. So it's going to be, let's say you take 10 minutes to go up, you're up to level 20 almost. you burn out, can't quite keep it up, take a 5-minute easy pedal, and then come back down, same numbers, 19, 17, 15, work you all the way back down to 1. And you'll see, that's a good little workout. How are days structured at Buds? Are there any breaks or in between events during evolutions, or is it just one physical evolution after another nonstop all day, every day? No, it is not like that. It is, you have significant breaks in between evolutions. Sometimes it's an hour classroom. Sometimes it's preparing the boats or something for the next event. And you go to lunch and you have 30 minutes before the next evolution starts and you prepare the boats. So you're moving and doing something or sitting and learning, but it's not a constant evolution one after the other after the other. Even Hell Week to a degree is not a constant evolution. It is typically, I mean, I guess technically it is a constant evolution, but you're not moving hardcore all the time. You're either paddling, running with a boat, doing some obstacle course event, waiting in line to do something. So you win something, you get to kind of chill out for a minute or two or longer. But yeah, it's not a nonstop event. What about strengthening wrists? Well, there's a couple things that you have to think about when you're strengthening a wrist, right? It's not really the wrist you're strengthening, it's the forearm muscles and it's the hand muscles, right? All of these things, all these hand muscles here and fingers, if you feel your forearm while you do this, right? All these muscles here are controlling your hands. So that is very important to work those forearm muscles, gripping, hanging, push-ups, all those things are going to work the grip and work the wrist in different ranges of motion. Wrist curls, all of those things. Rope climbs, very important. But think of it as grip of the hand and forearm muscles to work those wrists. Now you can do, any movement like this, is obviously going to work the muscles that control the wrist. But most people just simply have wrist mobility issues. So my advice is actually working some wrist mobility in there as well, and see if that helps. If you're wanting to get your wrist strong, get a grip trainer at a sporting store and go do wrist curls. Pull it. Hey, nice work. I think I just said that. Fitness topic. You guys don't have to answer each other's questions. I mean, I don't mind reading your answers, but sometimes it just distracts me. Hey, Stu, thanks for answering my question. As a follow-up, what stationary bike would you recommend for workouts you mentioned? It really doesn't matter. I use all types. I have a life cycle. I love that thing. But I will tell you, assault bikes are equally as challenging. Though, sometimes you may have to use a different method of pyramiding versus resistance. You may have to use power output or something like that. So regardless, try to come up with your own style of pyramid or Tabata interval or whatever, and see how that works for you. All right, what else we got? All right. Would you recommend taking a lifting cycle to train for hypertrophy for Buds pipeline? Asking because strength is your weakness. Yes, if strength is a weakness, you need to be lifting. If you're an endurance athlete, by all means, run less, lift more. Now, if you're a strength athlete, lift less, run more. Work on your weakness. Absolutely. And to be honest with you, that's what the programs I have that deal with block periodization and seasonal tactical fitness periodization actually do. There are cycles that focus purely on strength while you maintain your endurance and muscle stamina. There are cycles that focus purely on running progression and calisthenics while you maintain some level of strength in certain lifts. We usually use this as a block periodization model. You may have heard me talk about it. Block periodization just simply means we're going to do 3 weeks focusing on our weakness, and then we do 1 week focusing on our strength. So you kind of do a 1 week deload from what you've been working on. Let's say you are weak in the weight room, so you're doing a 3 week lift progression. You're still warming up with calisthenics and you're cooling down with some cardio. So there's some endurance muscle stamina built into the program. But after that 3rd week, I have always found that 4th week is always just a little tough, especially if you're seeing progress. Take a week where you don't lift and now focus on cals and cardio a little bit. So it's a strength deload, but it's a maintenance week for your cals and cardio. And then you come back the following week, next 3 weeks, and do another strength progression. And you find you're stronger. Saw that all winter this winter and last winter when we've been coming. I think we've done a 3rd year of that block periodization model all winter, and it's been very helpful with reducing injuries as well as maintaining PST scores. Not only have some people maintained PST scores, they actually got better at their PST scores using that 3-to-1 block periodization mode. And that's what this is. This is a 3-to-1 block periodization mode. And if you're spring training, this is 3-to-1 block periodization mode. So the last 2 spring training programs I created are block periodization. And they're 3 weeks cals and cardio, 1 week lift. Fall is just the opposite. Fall is our transition out of the cals and cardio and back into the lift cycle. Then our winter is our winter lift cycle. Been doing that way since I was 30 years old when I created it, and now that is 25 years ago. So I've been doing it myself as well as a coach for that long. Besides SEAL, what Spec Ops career would you recommend someone wanting to do mainly counterterrorism? I would definitely say Army, SF, but MARSOC too, Marine Corps MARSOC. Those 2 units especially, they are doing it now. But also you can, if you're in the Army, you can also, go into CAG, Delta, and that's their tier 1 unit that specializes in counterterrorism, just like SEAL Team 6 or Dev Group does for SEALs. All right, come what may. Let's see what this question is. Morning, sir. 35-year-old fleet returnee heading to Buzz. Damn. Good luck, man. Working up to 40, 50 miles a week. That's not bad. Watch your old guy prepping videos. Was wondering if you had any other recovery advice. Yeah, recovery is it's also anybody's number 1 goal when going through any type of Spec Ops selection, because you will be overtraining. It's just part of the system. But on those weekends, that's when you lick your wounds, eat well, sleep well, catch up on whatever you can, and come back stronger on Monday. And do what you can during the week as well, obviously. But those are key. In fact, I wrote an article on recovery from how to recover intensive military training. In fact, Jeff and I did a podcast on that too. So check out this article. It's an Ask Stu article over on military.com. I'll put the link in here for you Instagram folks, but the title is AS2 Training Recovery, How to Recover from Intensive Military Training. So check that out. That's going to be a big help for you. Give you a laundry list of everything you need to be focusing on. All right, let's see. I saw some questions over here. Any advice for pool comp, 50-meter underwater swim, not ties? You know what? Take a scuba diving course before you go to Buds for pool comp. I mean, having done scuba diving since I was 12, 13 years old, I can't say it helped me in all of that, but it wasn't my first time breathing underwater when having to also go through Buds at the same time. So, yeah, pool, it was something I didn't have to get used to on top of learn all these new procedures. So, dive prep's going to prep you for that. There's nothing you can really do prior to it to prepare other than just make sure you can understand what it means to follow procedures. And because you're going to be taught all these different procedures on how you need to handle a problem, stow your gear, come on up, and come up to the surface. If you deviate from those procedures, you will fail. And that's what gets most people at pool comp. It is pure not following the procedures as they practice it the week before. 50-meter underwater swim. You know, I'm not worried about that one too much. You know, we had 100 people that started the day we took the 50-meter underwater swim. We had started with 120, right? So by day 4, day 5 of the first week, we had already lost 20 people. And so we were walking in. I remember the head count, 100 exactly. So I walked in there. I was like, hey, this would be kind of easy to see what that percentage is of who fails and who passes. And then sure enough, not a single person failed out of that, 0%. And then as while I was there at Bud, saw multiple classes go through and same thing. Like maybe one person while I was there failed that test. It's not a common test to fail. They will make it sound like it is one of the hardest tests ever, but it is not one of those that tell. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's adrenaline that gets you fired up to go do it, but everybody was crushing it. Now, I would recommend swimming efficiently underwater. If you watch some of my videos, I have on Instagram and on TikTok, got some on YouTube as well that show you underwater efficiency, because that's the key. Try to go from one end of the pool to the other in as few strokes as possible. That's going to use up less oxygen. You can stay under longer. If you're doing this constantly, you're not going to make it. Chances are. You literally want to be able to do 4 or 5 strokes to get across the pool in a 25-yard pool, and then 4 or 5 strokes back. If you can do it in 3, even better. I've seen 3 before. It can be done. Knot ties, my advice is get a rope, practice all 5 knots, do it on a breath hold, do it underwater, not even holding your breath, but just to practice tying it underwater, because I tell you, practicing tying it in the air is completely different than tying it in the water. So you're going to tie this rope to another rope using one of those 5 knots. Practice it. I like your maximum fitness program the best. You know, that was my first idea of periodization model, where we actually had winter lift cycles, spring, summer calisthenic cardio progressions, and that was life-changing for me, because, you know, up until 30, I was trying to just do it all and stay good at everything year after year, and I kept getting injured and getting sick, just burnt out, and you know, cycling through just the running itself, that I'm not hitting 40 miles a week every week. Actually dip it down to like 10 or 15 miles a week while I'm lifting. That made all the difference in one, getting stronger, and two, not falling apart anymore. So yeah, definitely Maximum Fitness. That was my first attempt on that process, and I've evolved since then in the last 20, 25 years significantly. Where can I send you a video of me swimming? Don't send me 500-yard swim video. Just send me 50 meters of you swimming. One lap is plenty. About a minute-long video. And you can DM me, or you can send it to my email address, stu@stusmith.com. Happy to review that for you. In fact, tomorrow I'll do a live CSS critique of all the folks that I either filmed locally or people sent videos of for me to critique. Looks like I got all the questions over here. Yep, let me see what we got over here. I say, Stu, if for someone looking to start working out, but the seasonal program is already halfway through, any program or recommendation on getting started into it mid-season? Well, here's the thing. You start it whenever you want to start it. Like, for instance, I have a dozen people at least on a winter lift cycle right now because they are weak and don't need to run 40 miles a week yet. They ran 60, 80 miles a week when they were running in high school and college. So last thing they need right now is running more. They need to drop that running way down. Like I think I have them down to like 20, 25 miles a week max, and they're just lifting and swimming. So though I say it's a winter lift cycle, doesn't mean it has to be done in the winter. Yeah, we're halfway through the spring, but big deal. Just do what you can. Start it whenever you're ready to start it. But I will tell you this, whenever you say starting working out, this is not a beginner program. This seasonal tactical fitness periodization is an advanced fitness program. So it is not for beginners. If you need a beginner program, I would suggest going with calisthenics and cardio. That has a beginner, intermediate, and advanced program all built into it. It's a nice 16, I think it might be 20 weeks of training in that one program. It's a great one. And it's a good one to kind of build a foundation on. And then from there, you can say, all right, well, I did enough calisthenics and cardio for a while. Let's get back in the gym and do a lift cycle. And you can get back and doing a lift cycle if you want. What's the max volume of pull-ups and push-ups and swims and runs to be handled weekly in the military? You know what? That's going to be dependent on you, right? Because my warm-up may be your max, right? I know people who can't do 55 pull-ups, but we do 55 pull-ups in a 1 to 10 half pyramid warm-up every upper body day. So our warm-up is 55 pull-ups and 55 push-ups. Then we'll get into 100, maybe 150 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, mixed with some sit-ups and dips and running. Then we'll go swim. We may even mix up more pull-up, push-ups, and sit-ups on the pool deck, in between sets of 100, 150 yards of swimming. So at the end of the week, I would say if you added up the upper body calisthenics in this, I would say pull-ups, you're probably at around 250, 300 in a week. Push-ups, probably getting, and that's 3 workouts. Push-ups, you're probably getting 400 or 500 in a week. Some people like doing 400 or 500 in a day. That's okay too, but I've seen people do it way too much, in consecutive workouts, and they wind up just getting tendinitis. Sit-ups, we tend to focus on pacing of sit-ups versus high volume of sit-ups. So I'd rather people like learn what 50 sit-ups in 1 minute feels like. Then they can take that pace and start working on their conditioning to be able to handle it for 2 minutes. Next thing you know, they're flirting with 90 to 100 sit-ups in 2 minutes, which is above average. Running, same thing. I would say, for our pre-military training programs, we're getting it. It changes throughout the year, but we progress throughout the year as well. So right now we're at like 28 miles a week. And that's running and rucking thrown in there. We'll probably do like a 4-mile ruck thrown in there. So 24 miles of running, 4 miles of rucking right now this week. Next week, probably be 30. And then we'll keep progressing throughout the spring until we get to a level where we're probably going to be at 35 maybe before we even get to the summer. And we'll ramp that up to 40, 45, sometimes 50, depending on the person. We'll ramp it up. But I hate to say, it really depends on the person, and all those numbers are relative. Like some people need more reps in calisthenics and cardio, some people don't. Just depends on their athletic history, to be honest with you. Let's see if I got anything over here. Looks like I got one more question over there. Thanks for the article. Currently in FMF Corman with the Marines. It was my first time. It's my first time heading to Buds. Do you know if I'm allowed to have my med bag in my locker to piece myself together? I would, definitely. You're going to be an excellent source for your class too. I mean, see if you can go over to Buds Medical and actually be an asset to them within your class. Because I would get Sudafed, I get Motrin, I get all kinds of stuff from my Corman. That help a lot with just clearing your sinuses so you could go diving and just little things like that. So yeah, we had Corman in our Buds class back then. And those HMs became SEAL HMs and on to be Spec Op medics and things like that. It's a little bit different now since everybody is an SO when they go to Buds. Like you will no longer be a corpsman, but given your background, you will likely be the SOC M corpsman that is going to be the subject matter expert on combat medicine, for your platoon. For those guys going to academy, how do they go about working out with you? I'm at the academy about 5-6 days a week, so all you gotta do is email me, and I do training out there. I'm swim coaching out there regularly for anybody who wants to learn how to swim, CSS, treading water, stuff like that. But yeah, if you're at the academy, there's ways to find me. You found me today, so just DM me if you're there. Does intelligence support activity also do counter-terrorism? I'm not sure. To be honest with you, some of these, new organizations, the way they've rerouted their, the way they do support, I would first say yes, but I'm not 100% sure what you would call counterterrorism and how they do it. Most intel guys will say they'll do all the studies, and this is not a bash on intel guys. This is just kind of funny if you think about it. There'll be a group of intel guys that say, okay, here's where all the bad guys are right here, and this is their capabilities. You need to go and deal with it. Right? That's what intel guys do. Training for AFSW, been training all high school. How do I know when to do a rest day? Take a rest when you need a rest. I rest on Sunday, but not everybody likes to rest on Sunday because it's their freest day to actually do really hard workouts. If you have a busy week, make Sunday, Saturday, and Sunday your harder workouts, and then you rest at some point during the week. So, also struggle with stretching. Well, sir, you need to do my mobility day. In fact, I would do this. I would do a mobility day followed by hard workouts and then take Sunday off or whatever day off you want. In fact, if you follow this program, it'll walk you right through it. No more guesswork. It'll prepare you for everything you need to prepare for. IFT, OFT, selection, and it's going to help you with stretching because there's a mobility day right in the middle of the week. And yes, there are static stretches and dynamic stretches in there. Have you ever worked with National Guard SF? Yes, all the time. How's that compared to active life? Well, they all go through the same school. Some of them were former active that are now National Guard SF guys. Many of those National Guard SF guys augment into active units and go deploy. So out of all the National Guard units I've seen, I would say those guys and the pilots are really, and the air crew are really squared away with their jobs because they do it all the time. I mean, they're actually augmented constantly. So it could be a full-time job for you if you want it to be. All right, strong on bench press, 225, multiple reps and sets, but I'm struggling to get my push-up numbers in 2 minutes, any exercise routine. Yeah, you just need to do more push-ups, right? Do pyramids. In fact, here's the workouts I would do. These are my 3 favorite workouts to crush fitness tests. And when I say fitness test, I mean pull-up, push-up, sit-ups, run, right? You guys can see this. It's over on StuSmithFitness.com in the blog section. The actual article is called My 3 Favorite Workouts to Crush Fitness Tests. Pyramid, superset, max rep sets, and how to use them. So check that out. Any recommendations on bigger guys who try to lean down for running but have trouble shedding those last couple of pounds? It is just a consistency that needs to continue if you want to see results. Those last few pounds are always the hardest. I will tell you, I struggle personally all the time between 205 and 195. In fact, I typically stay at like 205 just because getting down 10 more pounds is like sucks. It's just hard. So you have to address diet and your running, not just run more. I don't care how old you are, you still need to not eat like crap because you can't outwork a crap diet. Been building my own program off of your NSW handbook for SWIC and SEALs. Had to tweak it down. Yeah, it happens. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, I would recommend it. I mean, these workouts are generic workouts, but specific to a particular goal. So they are useful in learning the process of that type of training and for that type of goal. However, they may not be personally designed for you, and you may have to personalize them. You might have to add miles if you need to add miles. You might need to pull back and cut the miles in half. Just depends on your athletic history. You might not be able to do a full 1-10-1 pyramid. Might have to go to 6 for a while, then go back down to 1. So there you go. Good job. That's the way you do it. In fact, I wrote an article on adapting these programs so you can actually get to your level of performance and reach your goals. In fact, you can check that out right here, this article. Let's see. Should SWIC candidates focus on any specific muscle groups or skills when training that's different from SEALs? No, I would say it's going to be very similar. You're going to run, ruck, swim, calisthenics, carry boats, carry logs. I would say all the hard part is very similar. After the hard part, yes, it will be different, but it's going to be different because you're learning other tactical skills. Instead of diving, you're learning how to take care of boats and drive boats and take care of weapon systems and shoot weapon systems. It's a lot of fun after you get through the tour. Still hard, but you're going to be more tactically driven than you are physically, if that makes any sense. How do you train for swimming as a runner? It's easy run workouts, long runs. How does this compare to swimming, and how you develop speed necessary? Well, first of all, swimming is technique. It is also conditioning. I don't care how great a runner you are. You run a 5-minute mile, and swimming is going to be like you're a beginner swimmer. You're going to do a lap in the pool and say, why am I winded? I can run a 5-minute mile, but I can't swim 50 meters. Yes, you will say that because it's a completely different modality. It's a completely different environment, and it causes you to work harder. So you need to learn the techniques first, then get into swimming shape. So how do I train for swimming? If you've never heard of the 50-50 swim workout, then you haven't researched it enough, because the 50-50 swim workout is a workout I created, I give out for free because it is that useful for people. In fact, there's the link for it right there. If you do 50-50 swim workout, you'll see it. I've made memes of it. In fact, you go to my Instagram, it's probably one of the tagged or pinned posts right there at the top. Yep, sure enough is. Third post, pinned, right? And it's basically this little workout. I can't see shit there. There you go. That little workout right there. Can't really see it because it's crap. But anyway, use your phone. If you're over there on Instagram, find that 50-50 workout. Do it. Do it 5 times a week. You do it 5 times a week, in a month, you're going to drop 2 minutes off your swim time. I promise you. But you got to learn how to swim first. Technique first. And if you don't know how to do that, you got to see this series of articles. It is called the CSS Help Series, Quick Fix to Crushing the Swim. And it breaks down every event of the swim, from your kick, your arm pulls, your glide, the sequence of the stroke, pull, breathe, kick, glide, and do you pull out or not? That's a big question. Which one? Which one do you do? It's kind of a clickbait article. It's kind of funny. It's called CSS Debate. Pull out or not? To pull out or not? CSS Debate. All right. Looks like we're doing pretty well on time. Just under the 1 hour mark. One more question. I got to go. But if I haven't answered your question, just email me. I think I answered them all. You can email me, stu@stewsmith.com. You can send me videos there. You can DM me those videos as well. You can go to stewsmithfitness.com. Check out the articles section over there for many of these articles that I mentioned. Also, you'll see the store where there's programs for every single tactical fitness job there is out there. Use the Live15 coupon code, save 15% over there, and get to work. That's the key. Let me see. I think that's it. All right. Looks like we got one more question. Just found it. Let's see here. Do strong legs help in running, or is it more about conditioning when it comes to those 1.5 mile runs? I've seen weak legs run fast, seen strong legs run slow. But I've seen strong legs run fast too, and weak legs run slow. So it is definitely a conditioning issue, though you will need strong legs at some point when you're load bearing, when you are carrying logs, carrying boats, firemen carrying people up a sand dune. I mean, you need strong legs. So you need both. You need conditioning, and you need to learn how to run faster by learning that goal pace run. It's not a sprint, it's a goal pace. You need to practice that. You need to practice some aerobic base conditioning as well, whether you do that running, biking, or swimming. That's kind of up to you. I would say a mix of all three is probably the healthy medium, especially for non-running athletes as you're trying to progress your mileage up gently to avoid injury. But yeah, that's how I would do it. But I got tons of articles on that, running, programming, and all that. So you could check them out over there on stewsmithfitness.com. All right, folks, I appreciate your times. Thanks for sticking around. Check out stewsmithfitness.com. I'm over there. Tons of articles. In fact, I'll probably write a new one today on this topic about this leadership / communication drill we added to a workout, and make it a good workout for you guys to try to implement as a group sometime. So it's a very cool thing. You'll see you get something out of it that you didn't realize you needed, if that makes any sense. All right, guys, I'll be back tomorrow. We'll see you same time, 9:30ish tomorrow morning. Have a good one.